When it comes to comedies from Hollywood, it really does feel like there hasn't been a lot of good ones coming out in recent years, besides maybe the rare exception. And there's a lot of reasons as to why that's the case. But I think a large factor is that a lot of writers in Hollywood were not willing to risk alienating or offending audiences like they used to. And on the surface, that sounds like a good idea. And I've even said many times on this channel, you don't want to attack the audience or upset your audience and your entertainment. But when it comes to comedies, sometimes in order to get a joke across, you have to be willing to risk offending people. And that's something that it looks like they're going to be willing to do when it comes to the upcoming Scary Movie. But before we get into all that, if you're new to the channel here, make sure you hit that subscribe button. And if you can, leave a comment and hit the like button because it helps me out. Marlon Wayans warns Scary Movie 6 may offend some people, no holds barred. This is coming from Deadline. And if there's going to be a franchise that's willing to risk offending people, I can see Scary Movie being just that, because I remember when the first Scary Movie came out, there was a lot of jokes that they probably wouldn't get away with these days. I think the last time I watched the movie was a few years ago, and I was saying that to myself. There was the character, Miss Ma'am. If you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. The female gym teacher who's clearly a dude. And I remember watching that, laughing about it and thinking like, yeah, you don't see movies doing jokes like this these days because there would be too many people offended by it. And like I said, sometimes you have to be willing to risk offending people. More than 20 years later, Marlon Wayans is ready to get back to the shorty within as he prepares to film Scary Movie 6. The actor who co-wrote and starred in the first two films of the horror parody franchise teased a no-hold-barred installment full of equal opportunity offenders after the last sequel premiered in 2013. It's how we always do it, he told Entertainment Weekly. We just want to make everybody laugh, and we don't care if you're sensitive. Even sensitive people need to laugh at themselves. I would actually say especially sensitive people need to laugh at themselves. But what he's talking about here being equal opportunity offenders, I think that's kind of necessary when it comes to this sort of thing, because if all the jokes are basically aimed in one direction, then it doesn't come across as trying to be funny, and more comes across as trying to attack one particular side, especially if there's certain groups and certain people that are off limits. That's something that we've seen in a lot of Hollywood movies in recent years. Like I said, when it comes to the Miss Ma'am character, you would never see a joke like that in a lot of other mainstream Hollywood comedies because that group is off limits. But there's other groups that, yeah, that group's, it's fine to attack this group. So it comes across as less being funny and more like they're just saying the jokes that they're only allowed to say, which is not really a good way of doing it. You have to do what he's saying right here and be equal opportunity offenders, go after everyone equally. And then at that point, everyone has something to laugh about. Wayans continued, just know that we're not laughing at you. You get the chance to laugh at others. When we did White Chicks, we made fun of everybody. We made fun of black people. We made fun of white people. We made fun of Hispanic people. That's just what we do. We make fun of the world, make light of the world. It's not to harm. It's to bring humor. You may offend people here and there, but hey, not every joke's going to land 100%. But if you tell a joke and 100 people laugh and one person walks out, that's still a good joke. And I agree, like, not every joke is, everyone's going to find every joke funny in a movie. But I mean, for the most part, if there's stuff that you can consistently laugh about, then I'm fine with it. I mean, there's a lot of comedy movies that I love that I don't necessarily laugh at every joke. But I mean, if it's consistently funny, like most, or at least mostly funny throughout the movie, then I would consider that more of a good comedy. And you can have some jokes are aimed at me and my groups and or what I'm certain things that I believe in. Like, I don't care if it comes from a good place and it's genuinely a good joke, then I can laugh about it. And I think it's kind of stupid when people just get offended because even if the joke is particularly funny because it's joking about their particular group, because there are some people out there who can not laugh at themselves, and there's really nothing that you can do about those. But I think more often than not, people are willing to laugh at themselves if the jokes are actually funny. The Wayans Brothers alum says the upcoming sequel will be a great conversation piece that we can all sit down and laugh together over 3 generations of people who haven't had great comedy in a long time. Like I said at the start, we really haven't had any great comedies in a long time. And I'm hoping we're going to see sort of a renaissance when it comes to great comedies. And I think this is a step in the right direction as far as comedy goes, being willing to actually offend people again, because like I said at the start of the video, that's something that you need when it comes to a good comedy. I mean, if you think about some of the better comedy movies in the past, One off the top of my head, one I always like recommending to people is Blazing Saddles. That's a fantastic comedy movie, and a lot of people would be offended by it these days, but I think there's more people than not would actually find that movie hilarious if they haven't seen it. And even this century, Tropic Thunder is another great comedy movie. I remember seeing Robert Downey Jr. talk about that on Joe Rogan's podcast. They're talking about how that's a movie that you couldn't make nowadays because of not only the blackface jokes, but also the retard jokes and things like that. And I mean, those jokes were hilarious, and they're not made from like a place of hate or anything like that. If anything, it's making jokes about the people who would do those sort of things. And that was the part of the humor to it. But some people apparently, I mean, even at the time, there was some controversy surrounding it, but still, I mean, when that movie come out like 2009 or 2010, around that time frame, and it's not that long ago, but it really does feel like that's a relic from an era that you couldn't repeat when it comes to Hollywood movies. I think you have to acknowledge how comedy has changed, explained Wayans. Not just horror has changed, but films have changed. The audience has changed. The world has shifted. I think the way to do that is to make the generational gap part of the conversation. That's how we constructed the movie, so we could talk about it all. It's a conversation with these funny characters, and they just so happen to be going through this. The more pressure you put on a character and the more horrific the situation, that's when you really get to know the characters. So it sounds like from this part of the humor is basically just poking fun at the idea that you can't make these type of jokes these days, or you can't say certain things anymore because of the sensitivities of the culture, or at least the perceived sensitivity of the culture. Now, will this movie actually be funny or not? That remains to be seen. The last several scary movies weren't that good, but those were ones that the Wayans brothers weren't actually involved with. The better scary movies, the first couple, were the ones that they actually wrote and directed. So maybe this one will actually be kind of a return to form to that. I'm hoping we get more of that. And I don't just want this to be one of those situations where they say, like, we're just going to be offending everyone equally, and then they're going after one particular group or one particular sensibility and just kind of doing light jabs at everything else. I do want it to be what he's kind of saying here, where it's like, yeah, they're willing to go after everyone equally just as hard, and they're going to be willing to risk offending people and not care about like how things are, pretty much the perceived sensibilities when it comes to modern day Hollywood. And if they do that and the movie turns out to be successful, then I think it could actually create a pattern, or at least a template of like what you can and cannot get away with now in modern Hollywood. Because I think there has been that shift in the sensibilities, and a lot of that has to deal with the perception that if you do movies that are offensive to people or particular groups, well, then those movies will ultimately fail. But if we see a movie like that made and the movie actually is successful, then I think other people in Hollywood studios will start to understand, like, no, we can do these movies again, and people are allowed to laugh, and no group is safe from all this, nor should a group be safe from all this. But let me know what you think about this in the comment section below. Is this good news to you, or do you hate the idea that people could actually be, or that there could be jokes in a movie that's offensive to some people? Comment below, and also, if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. And if you can, hit the like button and share the video out there, because it really helps out with the channel. Thank you.